I'm going to go do first is I was just going to go through all the product lines, all the differences between the displays and all your different options. And it's a small group, so please just interrupt me if you have questions. You know, we can really take it whatever direction you guys want to go. So I think I'll start probably with everything today is a multi-function display. So back in the old days, you know, you had a separate chart plotter display, you had a separate radar display. So everything now are multi-function displays, do definitely more than one thing, often chart and radar, chart fish finder, that kind of thing. So the beginning series is the A series. So that's an A series display. An A series is a touch screen only. As you see, no buttons on the display. So all the A series displays are touch screen, and they make them in 6, 7, 9, and 12 inches. So we've got 3 different series and then different sizes within those series. So A series, touch only, 6, 7, 9, and 12. Okay? The next one is C series. And C series looks like that, and it's buttons only, no touch screen at all. So C series is in 9 and 12 inch and no touch screen, buttons only. And then the E series is touch screen and buttons. So again, it looks just like that, but it does have the touch screen and the buttons, because touch screen is great and you use it a lot. I use it all the time now, but it's not the optimum thing all the time. So there is an advantage to having the buttons. And the E series is available in 7, 9, 12, and the big 15.5 inch display. Some of the new things with the displays, one of the things is that RayMarine are committed now to doing software upgrades at least 4 times a year. And when they do those, what they're doing is not just fixing bugs or making small changes, they're actually adding features. So if you buy a unit, it's really important that you keep up to date with the software updates, because there's all these new features coming out. So we have units we've had out for a couple of years now that are getting brand new features today just because of software updates. And one of those updates is kind of a neat thing. One of the big one coming up is auto routing. So what you can do is, instead of creating a route yourself, a route is multiple waypoints, you can actually, I'll demonstrate. So what I'm going to do is I want to build a route, so I want to go from here to say over here. So I want to go from there to there. I've told it the minimum safe depth for the boat, and you'll see what it's capable of doing. And it built the route automatically. So now you no longer have to actually go in and create the route yourself. If you don't want to, you can actually ask it to do an auto route for you. It'll use the safe depth that you've entered for your boat, for the draft of your boat, and it'll create an auto route. So, yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
There.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
They took the shortcut. Let's go.
Roy, it worked.
Yeah, it worked awesome. A couple of choices. All of the displays, you can have multiple stations.
I can buy as many as I want.
Right. Yeah, I think the maximum. I think the maximum is 7.
As many as you can
7 or 8.
afford.
Yeah. But I have even a better solution. I think in most cases, almost all of these units have Wi-Fi built in. It has nothing to do with the internet. The Wi-Fi creates a mini hotspot on the boat, and that allows you to connect tablets, iPads, iPhones to the unit. Everything you can do from the unit, you can do on your tablet. Okay?
How much of this is wireless now, or is it all still hardwired?
Majority of it is wired. Yeah, almost everything is actually wired.
What's that
Network. Yeah, okay. So I do
Is
have
this for your
control with
personal
it.
use,
You know,
or?
do you want to look at the time? And go back to
I
home.
didn't think it was.
You can make waypoints, routes. So you're sitting in the salon doing all your route planning, and those waypoints immediately are saved into the unit.
So that'll work with a laptop or
No, just either iOS or Android.
Oh,
Not laptop. So any tablet, any iPhone, iPod Touch, iPad, and any Android device over 7 inches.
Okay, that's very specific.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, and the reason I think for that is the size of the display mostly. You can use your iPhone though as a remote control. Basically what it does is mirrors this. So it allows you to use it as a handheld remote control. Then you can flip the page and go to the viewer screen and see the actual image. But you can't see both at the same time on an iPhone because it's too small.
It's too small.
Right there, and that's the image. It doesn't look all that great. Brian, do you want to walk back down there? So the nice thing about the thermal camera is what it does is it only sees heat. It doesn't see visible light at all. So the image between day and night doesn't change. And in absolute zero light, that image looks exactly the same. So for any kind of night navigation, it's the best thing going. It's unbelievable because things like buoys, they suck up heat all day and they get that heat back off at night and the water's cold. So you get this black water with these white hot buoys, other boats, even rocks. Rocks suck up heat during the day, and as long as they're over top of the water, they're a different temperature than the water. Even things like logs in the water, a lot of times they may be a different temperature so you can see them. So it's a pretty amazing technology. And there's a couple of different versions of cameras. That one doesn't move, so you mount it, it's forward looking. There are pan, tilt, and zoom versions. There are stabilized versions as well. There are also a couple of handheld thermal cameras as well. And that's all the FLIR technology. FLIR bought RayMarine 3 or 4 years ago, and they're a military thermal camera company, and it's that technology starting to come down into RayMarine. Excuse me. GS Series is the top of the line, and they're still multi-function displays, but they do have the ability to be completely flush mounted like that, which obviously is a little different aesthetically. It's a really nice way to put them in, and they're complete touch screens as well. They operate basically, the software is identical to all the other displays, and they utilize remote keypads, so you can actually control the displays with the remote keypad or the touch screen. But that keypad is available for any of the other units. So we could even use this keypad with an A series, for example, which is a touch-only display, and we could install that with an A series to get buttons. And the benefit of the remote keypad is that if the displays are in, say, a power boat up at the helm, you don't have to reach over and push buttons or touch the screen. You can actually be standing here and operating the keypad while those displays are up there. So that can be pretty handy as well.
But it is a wired connection.
It is wired, correct.
All the units display the operation.
Nice that that's in there because you can be sailing along and go, I can't remember how to make a waypoint. You can actually go in, search waypoints, come up right to that section and read how to do it. So that's kind of nice. It also, because it has this PDF viewer in it, if you want to put some of the other manuals for your boats in a PDF format, you can put them on a micro SD card, put it in here. You can actually read those manuals on the boat as well. So it will read PDF files on the unit. And we have 2 new fish finders, 2 new depth sounder fish finders. This would be a traditional display, fish finder display that you'd see. You know, it's usually a dual frequency, 50 or 200 kilohertz depth sounder. Well, we have this new thing called chirp and down vision. And usually with a depth sounder or a fish finder, what it did was it transmitted at one frequency. It just went ping, ping, ping at say 50 kilohertz or 200 kilohertz. Chirp goes between many different frequencies, from a fairly low frequency right up to a really high frequency, and it chirps through all the frequencies continuously, and the images of the bottom it gets are phenomenal. So there's your sort of traditional fish finder screen, but let's see if I can do down vision on this.
All 3 are up there.
Okay, great. All right, well there you go. There's a perfect display. So there's your regular fish finder display with the chirp. This is the down vision display, and it gives you almost a photo-like image of the bottom. It's unbelievable for finding structure. People have been finding snowmobiles and cars and planes, and all kinds of stuff nobody knew that was under the water with it. So it's a pretty amazing technology. You see the quality of the image, and you compare it to what a regular fish finder would see. Forward-looking depth sounders. There are a couple of forward-looking depth sounders. RayMarine doesn't make one. We distribute one called Echo Pilot. So, and if you're going to buy one, that's definitely the best one to go with. But you have to understand their limitations.
Sure.
Forward-looking depth sounders can only see 4 times the depth below the boat in front of the transducer. So if your transducer is mounted, say you got a 50-foot boat, your transducer is mounted 20 feet from the stern.
Yeah.
And if you're in 4 feet of water, it can only see 16 feet in front of the transducer. That's not even going to get to the bow of your boat.
Right. Okay.
And they also won't work up on plane because there's too much aerated water, too much disturbed water that goes by. So they're very limited, but if you understand their limitations, they're okay. Maybe very, very slow, snaking into an anchorage, you know, it might be a good idea, but other than that, they're just about useless. Replaces a flux gate compass, and what it has in it, it has a flux gate compass in it, which is an electronic magnetic compass, but it also has digital gyros, it also has accelerometers, multiple sensors, so it's sensing the boat yawing, pitching, rolling, everything that's happening to the vessel, and it's using that to make decisions on how it's going to steer the boat. Because in things like following seas, it's very difficult for you to steer, but the autopilot works even harder to try to steer in following seas. This starts to figure out exactly what's happening to the boat and will make much better decisions, and it will probably steer the boat better than you can in those rough conditions. So it's a huge technology leap. Again, it's that FLIR technology coming down. So it's what FLIR are using to stabilize their thermal cameras on tanks and helicopters and all that stuff. So that technology is now coming down into RayMarine, and there's nobody that has an autopilot with a sensor like that. And
What's
it's a huge difference.
What's the name of that, Ray?
Evolution. That's the
Evolution.
sensor, or the
And
Evolution
you'd mount it
sensor.
on your hardtop or something like that, would you?
Actually, because it's with the autopilot, you basically want it to be as low in the boat as possible and as close to the center line, if you can, because that's the area of least amount of movement of the vessel. It's capable of being mounted in other places. It's also the first heading sensor that is waterproof and capable of being mounted outside. So, say you have a small boat where you just have nowhere on board that is not affected by magnetic influence. There's batteries, and pumps, and you know, all kinds of things that are going to affect the compass. You can actually mount that up on the radar arch or on the hard top or anything. So you can really mount it anywhere, but it's better low in the boat and close to the center line.
So is there like a little gyro inside it or something?
There's multiple electronic gyros. There's the flux gate compass and accelerometers. You have the 18-inch radome, which is this guy right here. So 18-inch, they're all now 4 kilowatts. Yeah, they're the new digital radar. The only thing that's coming out of the radar scanner now is an Ethernet cable. So if you update a display, good chance you're not going to be able to use your old radar antenna. So keep that in mind. We've got the 3 sizes, the 18-inch dome, the 24-inch dome, and the open arrays. They're all 4 kilowatts now, so even the small 18-inch radome is 4 kilowatts. And with radar, basically what you're looking for is output power, and the bigger the arm of a radar gets, the better it gets because the horizontal beam width gets smaller.
Yeah.
So the 18-inch radar is good, the 4-foot open array is better. It's just the way it is. But at least they both have the same amount of power with the 4 kilowatts, and that allows you to punch through the rain and the fog and all those things that reflect the microwaves.
So Roy, if I inherit a radio in a boat with a VHF radio with the AIS in it, what happens in terms of that new ownership? Is it automatic or how does that work?
It's important that if you do get a used boat that has an existing VHF with the MMSI number in it, you need to change that MMSI number over to you. So you need to get that registration changed into your name.
Otherwise, basically, if you push the button, the panic button, the emergency button, they're seeing it associated with a different owner, right?
That's correct. Yeah, they have contact information for the previous owner, they're going to pick up the phone and call the previous owner about that.
Good to know. Thanks.